Now that we've spent some time covering verb tenses, I want to go back and think about what is the difference between a verb with ing and a gerund. So you know that a gerund looks like a verb with an ing, but it's not, right? And then there's many verb tenses that have an ing. All the progressives, present progressive, past progressive, and present perfect progressive. They all have that ing piece. So let's practice identifying verbs and gerunds. So remember your basics. A verb is the action or link of a sentence. The subject does the verb. Every sentence has a verb. A gerund is not a verb. A gerund is a noun. A gerund can be a subject. A gerund can be an object, so come after the verb, right? Or it can come after a preposition. So this should all be review for you now. So a verb does the action of the subject. So what's our subject and what's our verb here? Our subject is dog, or you could say our neighbor's dog. The verb is chewing. So the dog is doing what? The dog is chewing. So the subject is doing the verb. We have been listening to the rain. So what's our subject and verb here? So don't just listen to me, try to think and say it even out loud. What's the subject? What's the verb? We and have been listening. So what have we been doing? We have been listening. Again, what's our subject? What's our verb? So here the subject is watching. That's our main subject, but the full subject is watching the rain. And what's the verb is making. So watching the rain is making. Now sentences can have more than one subject and verb, so that can be confusing. Remember to look for a conjunction. So here, but is our conjunction. So on the left side, I have a complete sentence with a subject and a verb. And on the right side, again, I have a complete sentence with a subject and a verb. So what's my subject and verb number one? We, and we're listening, right? And then we also have subject and verb number two. We weren't watching. So again, we have this conjunction in the middle. I'm going to have a subject and verb on each side. So take a moment. What's the first subject and verb, and what is the second? So the main subject in the first part is the word part. Remember, of the movie, that's going to be a prepositional phrase, so that's not really our subject. So part. What's our verb? Is coming. Present progressive verb, right? On the second side, we have you and should stop. That's our modal verb plus base form. How about here? Again, we have the conjunction here in the middle. So we're going to have two subjects and two verbs. Our first one is free time. And our verb is. Sorry, that's close together. And then our second subject is I. And our verb is am. Right? Remember that a gerund is not a verb. A gerund is a thing. It's a noun. So it's a subject. It's an object. Or it comes after prepositions. Watching the rain is making me tired. Watching is a subject gerund. You should stop looking at your phone. Here, after the verb stop, you should what, right? If you say subject, verb, what do you find? You find the object. You should what? Sorry, you should stop what? You should stop looking. So looking is your object gerund. And having free time is a treat because I'm usually so busy with studying. We looked at this one a moment ago. We have our subject gerund, having. And then we also have this gerund that comes after our preposition. So remember, you always have preposition plus noun. In this case, our noun is a gerund. Let me get that to go away. There we go. So let's look at some more complicated sentences. It's usually a good idea to immediately decide, does it have one subject and verb or two? Then find the subjects and the verbs first, and then look for gerunds. So, how many parts here? Wearing a seatbelt is important because it protects you from dying in a crash. We have that conjunction because in the middle, so we're going to have a subject and verb on both sides. So our first subject and verb, wearing a seatbelt is. And here we have a gerund, wearing, which is the subject of the sentence, right? Let's look at the second part of the sentence. What's our subject and verb? And do you see any gerunds? Our subject, it, and our verb, protects. And then we have the gerund, dying. So dying comes after the preposition from. How'd you do? Let's try another one. They were asking us questions about our reasons for leaving our country. How many subjects and verbs do you see? There's no conjunctions, right? So there's only one subject and verb. They and were asking. All the rest of that is a bunch of prepositional phrases. About our reasons is a prepositional phrase, and for leaving our country. Do you see any gerunds? Yes, we have leaving, which is coming after a preposition. Move this so you can see. So let's look at the last one. Maybe there's two more, let's see. The class has been enjoying learning about verb tenses. Is it true? All right, so how many subjects and verbs? There's no conjunction, so it's just going to be one, okay? So, what's our subject? What's our verb? The class. What has the class been doing? It has been enjoying. The class has been enjoying what? The class has been enjoying learning, yeah? So that's our object gerund. Comes right after the verb. So it can look weird to have this ing, but this first part is the verb, and then this is a gerund. And remember, how do you find the object? You say subject, verb, what. The class has been enjoying what? Learning. All right, now this is really our last one. I stopped eating dairy, like dairy products, right, because I was having stomach problems. Here I see a conjunction, so I know I'm going to have two subjects and verbs. So what's my first set? I stopped. I stopped what? Eating. I stopped eating dairy is the whole thing, but that is an object gerund. What's my second subject and verb? I was having. Okay. So hopefully this has helped you keep straight in your mind when you see that ing. Is it a verb or is it a gerund? So you're going to have some practice with that to help prepare you for that part of your test. All right, good luck.